and welcome. This is Stog. I'm starting out a kind of a different style of recording this time around. It is just about Season 7. I mean, the queue has started and everything, but we are still in the latest patch for Season 6. I believe it was 6.24. For what I'm doing, I'm going to start doing some analysis on myself and go ahead and make a video of it every time I do it. That way maybe you guys can get a little bit of insight into how I think about my plays, and at the same time I can show you not only the plays that I enjoyed, but the plays that some of my teammates did that I enjoyed. So I'm going to kind of jump into this right here. I'm going to be winging it a bit, of course. Playing Aurelion Sol. I played a few times before this particular match. This one I go particularly well in, and so I want to do an analysis of this game to show what I did right and things that I could possibly do better. So for those of you who do play Aurelion Sol, please feel free to weigh in, and for you who don't, go ahead and weigh in and tell me what you think I need to work on, or well, just try not to be a troll, but you know, it's the internet. I'm totally cool with that. Anyways, I started off with a Doran's Ring here in this build, as you can see. And up against a Vigor, also Doran's Ring, identical builds. I went ahead and opted to take tank masteries, and that is some magic pen marks, so that's not really tank, of course. Some armor seals, about 5 of them I believe, and then I filled up the rest with some mana regen seals. Because Aurelion Sol, if any of you have played him, you know he soaks like crazy. He just drains that mana pool like damn. Aurelion Sol is a pretty good auto attack, so it's pretty easy to farm. Of course, I did just screw one up, and that, you know, that's just me. When you first start, I recommend that you push the wave really hard. Aurelion Sol's wave clear early on is very strong. His level 2 power spike isn't the best, but it does provide you a little more control in lane. If you're not controlling that wave as Aurelion Sol, you will lose. It doesn't matter who you're up against. Simultaneously, you need to be aware. When you're doing this, you're pretty much going to be pushed up beyond the middle of the lane the entire game. A jungler can easily come and screw you over. Now, we got lucky here. Kled was able to full ham on that Nasus. I'm not going to show you that one yet. And that got him the kill, the first blood, of course. So that does kind of help us out. And I did see the Rengar up there, so I know that I just need to push this and back off a little bit. And this is what I was talking about. If you're trying to control that wave, you're gonna be an easy gank. Luckily, I'm holding on my summoners. I don't really want to use it unless I have to. I was a little like, why not? If I had actually gone in a little more on that, I might have been able to kill a Vigor here. I am taking Thunderlords in this. Another one that I can recommend is Storm Raider's Surge, because you can get it going pretty easily. The hardest part about Aurelion Sol that I found personally is just keeping yourself positioned at all times so that you can keep using your W. Of course, it's easier said than done. You cannot, just don't pick him into an assassin. That's just, it's so damn difficult. So damn difficult. Now, I misplayed right there. Let me show you. So here we are. I know he's here. I get a nice stun, and I should have turned on my W right then and there. If I had done so, I would have gotten an extra 1 or 2 orbits, and Diana down here probably would have went full ham on that to, you know, kill it. Kill it with fire! Anyways, right now I'm kind of looking at what I can do to help out my team, because I'm feeling pretty good about this matchup. Vigor's out of mana. I've got some pretty good regen here. Honestly, I just popped on LOL Sumo. It's an app, and just, I wonder, does this build work? Sure, let's see. Just 2 Doran's rings into the like a standard Rod of Ages build. I do like the Hextech item, the I can't even remember what it's called right now, the frosty one where you shoot those ice needles. And it is kind of fun on this map right now, because winter themed. Anyways, back to Runes and Masteries. Instead of the Executioners, which is, you know, in that center tree, bonus damage when they're below a certain amount, I took some mana regen again. And that is solely just to keep orbiting. It is so easy, so very easy to run out of mana on Sol. Okay, so as you can see, Vigor is actually farming pretty well. I'm keeping pressure on him, so he's not necessarily stacking too greatly at this point. See, he's 47 AP. Like, it's not the worst, of course. And I suppose I could just pop back to see what he's toting at the beginning of this. Yeah, he hasn't gained that much, so I'm just gonna pop on back here. Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and, ooh, they're having a fun little time down here. Now, this is actually what's causing me to start paying attention to ganking them. I happened to glance down while I was coming back and noticed that, hey, they're actually pushed pretty nicely, and I've been paying attention to my minimap. These guys have been more or less in this area for the entire bottom lane. The enemy jungler hasn't done much for it, but that does let me know that I could, in theory, gank him. I'm going back again. Oh, no, okay, I just got back before that. Okay, I'm going back now, getting my second Doran's ring. I'm feeling pretty good about this lane, actually, because through my other games, I got rickrolled. Like, I don't even remember who I was going up against, and it really doesn't matter. It was just bad. Aurelion Sol really requires a certain kind of playstyle. And he does also require a high level of map awareness. So if you're not feeling too great, you're not feeling very aware, then I don't exactly recommend that you play Aurelion Sol, especially for a first time. And definitely give him a few games before you even think about going ranked. He is strong, don't get me wrong. He's got a Twisted Fate level of gank pressure, almost. You know, it's not an instant teleport. But, yeah. So, Vigor was out of lane, I just pushed it, I'm looking for something to do. I probably didn't need to do that Q, but whatever. And this is what I'm talking about, keeping them always at the outer ring. I have no vision of him, but I can assume that he's in that bush. My ultimate's on a relatively low cooldown. I mean, it's not the lowest, it's not Lux, of course. But feel free to just burn that. If you think it can give you more of a chance to kill something, just burn it. Don't be afraid. It's not such a game-changing ultimate that you need to hang on to it for that perfect moment. If you think it'll give you an edge or make your lane easier, just pop it. Okay? And I guess I could elaborate on that a little bit more in future videos. I do plan on playing Aurelion Sol a little bit more. And, you know, since the damn autofill is working, we are getting thrown into random positions that we aren't necessarily ready for. This season I've been doing a lot of AD carry, so yeah, this is just kind of a new thing for me. My junglers are probably going to be Kindred and Nocturne. I've had pretty good experiences with them. Now, I detonated that early. I probably just could have kept walking. Okay, you know what? When this game happened, I didn't notice that Vigor ulted, so that does kind of explain how she got popped so quick. Still, It gives me a little more free lane pressure, and free lane pressure for me when I'm trying to be as active as I am this game. Like, right now, I'm looking to possibly go bottom again. I'm bored, I'm done with my lane, like, cool, Vigor's dead. Our farm right now is much higher than Vigor. I mean, 17 farm, it's not like I'm curb stomping or anything, but see, I get this one, and I misplay right here. I should have ulted like 5 seconds at least earlier. And I hear the Rengar and it's making me clench a little bit. Okay, so there's that. Take barrier, folks. If there's an assassin on the enemy team that's going to dash and jump on you, take barrier. And work on that timing. Predict when it's going to happen. Aurelion Sol also works extremely well with anybody with CC. I resisted the greed to keep chasing here, and that's why I lived. I'm really glad I did that. Even though Caitlyn was pretty low, I did want to get that kill. But, yeah. Gonna rewind it 15 seconds here. Okay, so, let's take back a little bit more. 30 seconds. Okay, so, here he is. Gets CC'd to hell, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I can stay way back here, be safe. I've got 2 other people who might be better targets. And greed, kill, allow that to happen. I ended up on a trap that I didn't even notice, so there's that. Let's see. Okay. So we've got, basically we brought 4 people down here and went up. We went positive on that. Diana's a little busy right now because she wasn't involved, but she is clearing the enemy jungler. So if you're being aware as a jungler, even if you're not directly involved in a fight, you can capitalize on things. And that is going to help your team win. So now, while Rengar doesn't necessarily need a blue buff, of course, Vigor could use it. And now he can't, of course. I mean, it's not very, like, high-level thinking, of course. Ah, Nautilus, your shields and health. You make me so happy. Okay. So, they're fighting down here. I happen to notice, so I'm gonna see if I could do something. I don't believe I actually help at all. But, you know what? If something was to go wrong, I'd be around to do something. And here we go. Flash burn. They're gonna get him without my assistance as well. I'm just kind of here for theatrical effect, I believe. Still, I'm not sure if this was a DC or a rage quit. I'm pretty sure it was a DC, honestly. Let's see. So, if I had turned that a little further back when I did my Q, that probably would have hit him. Probably. But no guarantees. Let's see. So right now, 3-0, 67 farm over this Vigor. Vigor's going a squishy build, which I honestly don't play Vigor, so I have no idea if this is what you're supposed to do on him. I grabbed the 2 Doran's rings, a corrupting potion, and I'm on my way to a Rod of Ages right now. Mostly because I really am enjoying the mana I'm getting back when I wipe out a wave. I do something silly here. I really don't think I was in range for my E, and I didn't bother checking. I remember I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool, I'm just gonna go build this big ass Q, and yeah, no. Okay, so I'm sure at least some of you have seen the LCS plays with the cosmic sized Q. The way you do that, you start off as any normal Q, you just kind of cast it at a spot and then start moving normally to that spot. Make sure you clicked on a spot that is easy to go back to, because when you're just about at your maximum range of cultivating that Q, you need to press your E. So you can start as far back as like your inhibitor tower for mid lane, basically, and just work it all the way down. And you can do this in a few other locations on the map. Let's see. Here I got confident. I should have just kept going earlier until he was absolutely dead. Unfortunately, I didn't. So, another thing, I could have turned off my W when I was in that bush because I just pissed off these little chickens and they might murder me. Greed, but it turned out okay. Here. I don't know what this Vigor was thinking. I'm pretty sure these pings are his allies getting pissed off at him. But, you know, who can say? Certainly not I. Some of the areas you can do pretty nice Q buildups is this sort of straight line here. It does have its limited, like, where you can place it, but if bot lane is actually doing a pretty good job, then you should, theoretically, be able to land a decent Q every once in a while. You know, difficult, but yeah. Okay. This Nautilus is actually pretty good. He was trying to do an aggressive engage on the Rengar to prevent him from getting to do a start on Sivir. And that actually is what keeps them alive here. So he was not being afraid. They were both trying to back up, don't get me wrong. But Nautilus has the CC and the health right now to put enough pressure on the squishy Rengar that he can't necessarily kill her. And, you know, I came down to try to gank, and that's mostly because I'm beating Vigor handedly. Our farm and kills are just so over him right now. And so I decide, like, hey, you know what? I'm actually doing pretty well. I choose to ult, and I can see that she healed, because otherwise she would be much, much lower. Ah, oh, so close. So close with that Q. Anyways, so if you're keeping your distance appropriately, and I screw up here, because I should have just started ducking back out of the tower. But again, I am a much more greedier player than I ought to be. Definitely. And I think I'm going to die here, so I'm just kind of dancing back and forth, and then Rengar decides to spare me. So I come up, I happen to see that teleport, I start wandering that way. He reveals himself, I'm like, oh hell no! And this gets nice. And little nifty, kind of funny thing you can do for Aurelion Souls, whenever Vigor pins you, sets up his little baby cage, just turn on your W and waddle around inside of it. That's pretty much it. If somebody's going to get close to it, they're going to get hurt at least once or twice before they get to you. It's not actually going to do that much, but it could potentially help the rest of your team. Aurelion Sol, pretty fun. If you think back to when the Caitlyn was up here, I probably could have ulted earlier again. Still working on the timing on that. Even if they are at a maximum range for you, go ahead and ult anyways. Because it does have a hefty slow even at level 1. 40% for 2 seconds. That's not bad. And I believe it goes up to 50 and then 60% at each of the ranks. So, definitely not bad. If you pair that, you're almost guaranteed to get at least one outer limit smack. So, right now that's dealing 160 plus 100, 219. So, it's pretty good. I was a little cocky here. I'm going to go ahead and rewind that before the rest of this goes on. So I'm coming in, I'm like, hey, cool, I see that Diana down there. Let's do some work. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to build up this big Q. Wait, Diana's gone. I don't want this anymore. So trying to kite away, trying to predict the CC. CC is going to utterly screw you up. And the speed I got from Kled's ult actually threw me off quite a bit. I'm glad that I have the health that I do, otherwise I'd be dead already. I'd be quite dead. But that does set up the game pretty well here. Back it up one last time. So, No, 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 no. Leave your W on, back it up. As soon as everybody's clustered or you look like you've got help come in, just ult to get everybody pushed to that maximum limit, and you can just do your consistent damage. So, Aurelion has an interesting playstyle. You kind of think about it as being tanky like Swain without the super short range. He's tanky like Swain, deals consistent damage like it. He can gank like a Nocturne or a Twisted Fate. Similarly, of course, he's got his own stuns from his Q, and the stun goes up like a Taric stun, which is to say, like, it might as well not go up. It deals pretty decent damage and scales alright. You still want to max your W because it's free damage and it improves your free damage with just passive. I don't know why I did that. I honestly was considering telling you guys I was swooping for wards over here, but no, I was just being stupid. We're winning right now. We're winning very, like, damn. I could have hit that in this direction, maybe picked up some wards over here to help us snowball that dominance. And that is one of my issues. I've gone super ham and won so well early game, but if you do that and you don't keep up on your pressure, the enemy team can, and definitely has, picked back up. I messed the queue up, but damn, this is fun. Like, to be able to chase down a Rengar and a Nasus, whew, that's good feelings. I'm a little worried that Rengar's somehow gonna dash back in here and kill me. I don't know why. Now that I'm looking back at the replay, there's no way in hell he's gonna do that. I mean, just, he's only got 160 AD. Actually not bad. And I messed that up. When I came in, I could have come down at an angle instead of going like this, here, and ulted the Nasus. However, it does make him go back, so I'm gonna have to say that that was worth. The ultimate at rank 2, dealing 250 plus 77 AP. So, decent ratio, like I said. Actually, I didn't say that for this one. Anyways, decent ratio, that's approximately 0.7. And same thing with the Q. They both scale pretty well. Now, Celestial Expansion, for being a ability that can damage so many people at once, consistently, a 0.4 ratio is actually not that bad at all. It's really hard to think about it as being nice, because its base damage is 128. So it's like, oh, okay, well, that's alright, I guess. But when you consider that's 128 base damage being dealt to everything in the area, and for a while, especially if you turn it on and just leave it on, I mean, hell, you could, it's free damage, and the range on it is quite impressive and oppressive. So there's that. Of course, you are definitely going to be more susceptible to getting crowd controlled. The dinkiest of crowd controls can shrink your stars back into your scrotum, so you gotta be careful. I don't know what I'm doing here. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna E for half a second. I thought I was gonna Q, but I'm pretty sure I had it on cooldown or I misclicked. I don't know. It was just a silly play. And there's that one. A little bit of extra pressure there, so that actually went pretty nicely. And I'm getting a little bit of star harassment, just give him a little poke with it. This is kind of what I was talking about before, about being able to do that consistent damage. The lack of crowd control here is allowing me to do tons of damage. The immortal words of freak. Tons of damage. And zoning, like, damn. So, I'm waiting to ult, I see him get low, I'm like, well, screw it. Just do it. Just do it. Okay? Shia LaBeouf, just do it. And I've got a pretty decent amount of damage on there right now anyway, so that's like 375, right? Yeah, 375. And here's where they surrender. So, yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think of Aurelion Sol. Cheers!